welcome to another episode of the Artist Bloc podcast. I am your host, Patricia Schuler, and today's guest is a phenomenal poet. He's a teacher, he's an activist, he's a scholar, he's a father, he's a husband. He's the founder of W.O.R.D Society and Word of Mouth Wednesday. So give it up for the phenomenal LB the poet.
Thank you for such a great intro.
Yes.
Look, like, okay, word. I'm just sitting here like smiling and trying out the, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I think you are a dope person, a dope artist, and I have been able to witness your growth over the years. Yeah. And you keep growing and building and getting better and better. So
it's been crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it started here. So it's dope to circle all the way back for a podcast to be able to talk about the entire process. Because it has been that process since the beginning.
Yeah. And before we get started, I want you to go ahead and talk about your product you have up here. Because, we didn't say hustle at the beginning, but that's also a part of it as well.
A little bit, yeah. I'm always... So I recently became the Winston Salem distributor for Live Alkaline Water, which is a Black-owned alkaline water company. And the source or the spring is actually on Black-owned land as well. Wow. It's been in this family for over 400 years.
Nice.
So for me, the fact that they've had this land for this extended period of time through everything that our history tells us that we've been through, and it's been in this family, it just hits a little differently for me. Yes. So I joined along. I have Winston, my partner T. Walker, and King or Brad. They're out in Greensboro, and they're the main ones who kind of got it kicked off for everyone else. But it's powerful. It's creating a way for other individuals in our circle to, eat and create income, another source of income outside of everything else that we do. So it's powerful, and it tastes amazing.
Yes.
After you take your first sip, you'll understand what the hype is about. Prior to Live, I'm pretty big on Essentia. That was my water of choice. My wife likes Core, but Live is a little bit different.
Yeah,
it's crazy when you talk about water and you have to say it tastes pure.
Yeah,
but you'll understand.
No, it's a difference. Like you can taste the difference in water. So I totally get it. Yeah, and I want to come back to it too when we get into the ways that you're doing your thing. But before I leave the subject, I want you to talk about the healing powers associated with alkaline water, or the benefits associated with alkaline water. Let me say it like that.
So the antioxidants, it flushes your system. So what makes it alkaline is it goes over, I don't want to say the wrong amount, but I think it's 53 metals. So the water runs over the metals, and that's what gives it its alkalinity. And just the health benefits, the minerals that still in the water because it's pure.
Right.
It's not like it goes through a process when it goes into bottling, but other than that, it's completely pure. So if you want info, go to heavyenergyuniversity.com. You can check out the articles. It's in 3 Walmarts down in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow.
So it's working. In different communities, we touch different local grocery stores and touch the local businesses, but on a bigger scale, it's actually making its way through corporations. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. Yes, I want to get that out there for so people know. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, let's it's health.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really big in our community right now is health and wellness. So to have something that can kind of assist in that, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our people, I've sat and watched people drink soda and juice and coffee, or they don't really touch water as much as they should, and you wonder why you have these different pains or you have these different aches or these headaches because you're not getting the water, the right amounts of water. If you think that you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day, think of that. How many people actually
doing
that?
You
have people out here who carry around a gallon and they try to touch it that way, but in reality, a lot of us aren't doing it. I know myself, I struggle still doing it, and I drink a lot of water. I purposely drink a lot of water, and I still struggle. So, it's just encouraging people. A lot of times people don't know that they can do it until they see someone else do it.
Yeah.
So, be the spark.
Yes. And health is wealth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is also a part of the journey of being an artpreneur. It's not just what you bring financially, but how you're taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul. It's all
it's
encompassing together.
all in one.
Right.
Because if you're not taking care of one part, it's going to show.
Right.
People can see through the mask.
Right.
And that's the beauty in the art. Like, your art tells a story, but if you look at someone long enough, you can read what their face is really saying.
Mm-hmm.
You can try to hide it all you want to, but that's just like having the mask on. I can still see your eyes.
Right. Yeah.
The eyes are the window to that's who you really are. So,
Yeah. Okay.
on,
We just went like there real quick. Let's bring it back. Let's come back to the beginning. Okay. So talk to us about a young LB and your journey, and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, I started writing poetry in the 6th grade. It was crazy because it came from a very painful place. I lost my grandmother. Following day, I was the kid that didn't want to miss any days from school. Like, I wanted perfect attendance. So I'm going to school today, Mom. Went a little bit late, but I still went. And you know how, like, whenever something is wrong and someone asks you, hey, man, what's wrong? Are you okay? That's all you need for the floodgates to open. That's what happened. First thing in the morning, too, my principal took me out of class, gave me a pen and a pad, and told me that no one could ever judge me off of what I put into that. And that's the free space for my emotions. Me being a 6th grader, going through all of what I was dealing with from losing my grandmother, I sat in her office and I wrote. When she came back in, she asked for permission to read it, and as she's reading it, her face is turning red. I see the tears falling. She sent it to my mother. My mother cries. My mother sends it, and it's like everyone who that first piece touched, they cried. That was the beginning of me finding poetry, or poetry finding me, and me understanding the power of it. Fast forward, I was a pretty well-known wrestler in high school. We were pretty great. So I wasn't the super cocky athlete that was telling people that I was writing poetry the whole time.
Right.
So nobody ever knew about the poetry. Like, that was tucked away. I was who I was on the wrestling mat. That's what people knew. And when I was 18, 19, I came out to Greensboro. My first performance, I think it was called like Venus Fly Lounge or something. It was on East Market. Little hole. No, I ain't gonna call it a hole in the wall, but it looked a little sketchy at the time. But first performance was there, and someone came out of the crowd, big strong dude, came out of the crowd wiping his eyes. And, he was in tears. It was the poem. It's entitled "The Letter," it was a letter to my unborn, and in turn, a letter to my father on the back end of the poem. And he related to it. And yeah, that was the first taste of LB on the stage. I was 18, 19 years old in Greensboro. And it's kind of been a run from there. Performances, stages, open mics. And then about 2017, everything really changed. But that's a fast forward. You asked me about the beginning. So
no, we're going to get to that 2017, but I want to come back to the first time you performed. So, a lot of times with people, I mean, I'm not a performer, my art is a little different, but I have heard stories of performers, they're scared, they're nervous. It's their first time, they don't know how people want to respond to what they're saying or anything like that. How did you feel? And how did you conquer that, that fear if you had it?
So I feed off of people's energy. So have you ever heard like the concept of whenever a performer steps on stage, it's like a completely different person, or you don't remember the performance because you stepped outside of your body? And I've had those experiences. So for me, and I still to this day get like that little, I guess you would call them butterflies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but that's the kick in the butt for me to run out on the stage and start cutting up. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not going to say the driving force, but it's kind of like the driving force or the driving foot that's like, all right, it's your time to go on the stage because you feel that. Once you feel that, oh yeah, we here now. I don't care if the crowd is 10 people or 10,000. Like, I can't not be me. And then I've had the situations where the wife will ask, like, well, when you did this, and it's like, well, I did what? Because I'm so out of my mind on a stage. You leave it all there. And I think that's what kind of separates the different levels of performers. Because it's, you know, like the Mains, the T Walkers, the Witnesses, the LEBs, the B Rocks. Like, you know what you feel when you see a B Rock performance.
Right.
Like it's not just oh, that was cool. It was a ooh. You know, when you sit up and you put your elbows on your knees, that's when it's something a little bit different. So for me, it was just embracing the entire performance aspect and really understanding how to hone into that mental space of, all right, now the butterflies are here. Now we're stepping on stage. Now it's go time. Like I've literally had a lineup prepared to perform, but when I step out there, the energy is different. So what comes out is not the lineup that I had prepared at all.
Right.
So yeah, like
it's kind of like you let the spirit guide you and move you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, from how you're describing it sounds like a natural high.
Oh, believe me, yes.
Yes.
But for me, like, just like this, I feel your energy.
Yeah.
I feel the creativity in the air. So it's easy to flow and have these conversations and really just dive because I feed off of people. So if the crowd is uncomfortable or it's almost like you can slice the air with a butter knife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know that as an artist, I'm touching something in someone.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Do you live for that moment and that
yes.
feeling? Yeah. When you're performing.
So for me, that's why when we were talking before, I was telling you, like, it's hard for me to think about going virtual completely with my show. Like, if I'm going to do a virtual show, it has to be like semi-live, semi-virtual, to where I have like I need the crowd to feel. I don't need the crowd.
You need that energy, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need that
energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I can perform in the mirror by myself and give it like it's 10,000 people on, on the other side of the mirror. But I would rather actually see the people's faces when you spit a certain bar and it touch them, and it's like when I see that, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type, when I perform, I look you in your eyes. Like, at the beginning with early LB, I would find a space in the back of the room and I would stare at that and keep that baseline. So it seems like I'm looking at everyone, but I'm really looking behind y'all.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to point at you and look you in your eyes and actually make you feel me.
Yeah.
So it's levels. It's levels, and it's getting comfortable and understanding who you are and understanding the power of your voice. Really, I embrace the fact that I know I'm here to speak life into people in every aspect of life. So whether it's poetry, whether it's hosting, whether it's teaching, a father, a husband, a son, I have to speak life. I have to speak that into people. So the whole every day is Wednesday thing, that's me speaking life into people, because if you wake up from this day forward, if everyone in here wakes up from this day forward and say, yeah, today is Wednesday, even on a Thursday or Friday, it's still a Wednesday. I won today.
Right.
I woke up. I had good food. My kids kissed on me. I came here for this. All of that's a bonus. I've already won. Now I'm looking forward to the next win tomorrow and the day after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on, because we got to come back to get deeper into the everyday. But no, I'm digging it though. So what made you decide, because you did your first performance, and I'm pretty sure you were just like, okay, let me do my first performance in front of like a crowd of strangers type of thing and do it. When did you decide, I want this forever? I want this life. I want to do this professionally?
Oh, from that first performance.
That first performance is like, I want this forever.
Yeah, I think like the letter is very, 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 very personal. The first line is sexually assaulted, mentally catapulted beyond the next level, and it takes people there. Talks about my story, a dream of having a child, which then comes down the line, and it's one of those. So to have someone who looks not like we're the same skin tone, but he looks a little different, a little big, a couple tattoos on his face, looked a little scary. The fact that you were able to be vulnerable and come out of the crowd in tears, that to me, it became the high.
Yeah.
I need that. Now, let me go back through the hundreds of poems that I have that I've never let people hear and start expressing and getting it out there. So then the open mics came and the traveling and the moving and the let me jump on everything moving. And I have an ability to freestyle when it comes to music. So for a while, my wife would tell you she always has to like reel me back in because I'm a dreamer. I see the big picture, like the bird's eye view. I need people around me to see the steps it takes to get there. Excuse me. But she'll tell you like not really lost my sight. I was so gung-ho on the music because I had gotten some attention, couple DJs and people it just started moving fast on the music side too. So she had to reel me in and say, but you're a poet first. That's your gift. The music comes because your gift is so easy.
Right.
So I've gone through some transitions as an artist. My name when I first started was Envious. Envious.
Let's talk about that. Why did you name yourself Envious? Especially now since you're a person saying you speak life and you're speaking, somebody's calling you envious. They're speaking over your life.
So the name is an acronym for never ending victory within us. But you explain that to people 100 times, you like, I don't want to say it no more. Like you get tired of the breakdown, or I did, of the name because people are like, that's such a bad name. Like, you don't seem like that fits. And it's like, nah, but the name actually means, and then it's like, well, I don't really need this facade. Like this isn't a different person that's stepping onto the stage. It's me. It's LB. Yeah. So that's why I just embraced LB the poet. And yeah.
But I think that's a part of the journey.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And I want to talk about that because you talked about after you did the first show, it was like you was hitting everything you could hit. And I think a lot of times people forget about, or maybe they don't forget about, they don't appreciate the grind. Like you got to put in that work. You got to practice. It don't just happen like that.
Yeah.
So talk about that process of doing that grind and how long did it take before you felt like you felt professional? Because in the beginning you know you want to do it, but you still are lacking confidence to a certain degree with that.
So, for me, it was like, as an artist, do you feel like you recognize the times when you level up, like you can feel the level up happen? Like whether it's a piece of a visual art that you put out or some editing that you do and the transitions just get crazy. It's like I had certain poems at certain times that it was like when I wrote it, I was like, oh, like the letter was one of them. Jeans versus jeans, the definition of a woman's worth. I wrote that when I was 19.
Wow.
I didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
I did not know what I was talking. Like, I'm not one of those artists that sit down like, well, actually, let me not say that because now I'm actually sitting down and mapping out what I want to do with an album. I'm going about it a different way.
Right.
But prior to this, I'm not the type of artist that sits down like, yeah, I have this idea. Let me write about it.
Yeah.
No, I sit down and I write, and what comes. There's no editing. There's no going back. Once it's complete, the John Does, all of the poetry that people love, they haven't been edited. It's one of those where you put it out there and you let it go. And I wrote Jeans, and that was when it was like, okay, that was a level up. And then I think the next one that came after that was Pride. And the wife and I used to go out and shoot, used to go out and shoot these, she would shoot the videos. Like we would go find a dope spot and she would shoot the poetry video. And Pride was one of those where I've always been big on acronyms when you think about it. And it was, Pride was a level up. And then It's blood. Like, I write a lot of poetry.
Let me say this, because the more you talk, it sounds like you're like a rapper, like how I envision rappers to be. And you are, for instance, like a Lil Wayne or a Jay-Z. You are writing it out, you're freestyling. Or, okay, let me bring it back. You remember when Lil Wayne had the Carter 2, right? And after the Carter 2, you just start doing a bunch of mixtapes. And he said he did the mixtapes because he was trying to get all of
His
that
material.
out so that he could make the Carter 3. You know what I'm saying? Which was masterpiece. Is it kind of like that, where you were like, let me just get it out until I find that masterpiece?
That's what the overall process is.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, if I was to show you my phone, I know on my phone I have 1,000 poems. And people have probably heard 15 to maybe 20 of them, would you say? Maybe 15, 20 of them? But whenever I go through and I start letting people hear them, they're like, bro, what? Like, and I'm my biggest critic. So what I may just be like, somebody else may take it, because one thing I learned from my wife is, she used to say it, and I haven't heard her say it in a while, a lot of things we go through aren't for us, but so other people can relate to our stories.
Yes.
And for me, I like that, it just stuck in my head. So a lot of the poetry that I've written over the years, the good, the bad, the ugly, lose a friend, gain a friend, everything, I write about it. So it's like you can really see and embrace my journey through the writing. You can hear when I was super, super religious and heavy in, like, I was super religious at one point. Like, I was about to be a youth pastor. Like, I was in there, like, all the way in there.
Okay. Even though you're doing a form of pastoring, but we'll get to that later.
You know,
but
I have my church. We are
right.
You feel me?
Right.
And I also, you can hear when I transition from religion to relationship, and embracing spirit and source, and really kind of breaking off. I'm not even gonna say breaking off. Relearning.
Yeah.
You can hear that process.
Yeah.
You can hear the seeking of guidance for self. And a lot of that, again, can be accredited to the wife, because she'll read something and it'll intrigue me to then go read it, or she'll read it and she'll read it out loud, so we both hear it, so I'm soaking up the knowledge along with her. And it's just, craziness.
You keep referencing your wife. I want to throw this out there, and we're going to get back. But how important is having that supportive spouse?
I wouldn't be who I am.
Okay.
I would be, because I was me prior to meeting her. But in almost 9 years of being together, my wife missed her first show after giving birth to our second child. So I'm talking like National Black Theater Festival, 1,000 people, she wobbling to the show, performing, like, the support. Like, again, so let's rewind. When it comes to being great, or people knowing you, or doing something to the point that you master it, my wrestling team is the #1 team this state has ever seen. My family lives in my city, or like, you know what I'm saying? My mom came to wrestling matches. My brother would occasionally come, but to be at such a high, we're #1 in the nation at this point when I'm in high school. And the stands are packed, and my mom is there, my brother may pop up, but the immediate family, cousins, and the support was never there. When it comes to poetry, I did a show with some guys. His name was Greg something. I hate that I'm forgetting it right now, but either way, my boy Jehudi did a show with them. The mayor of Greensboro at the time came out to the show. This is when I'm 19, 20 years old. My mom came out, but it's like I never really had the type of support that my wife has given me. So I can't really say prior to that point if I was missing it, but since I've had it, I can't go without it. And it's the battery that empowers you to say, all right, I know I can do whatever. If I wanted to go out here and sell ice cream, she gonna find me the best scooper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's one of those to where it's like, I got her back, she got mine. And knowing that someone, no matter what, no matter how bad you fail forward, because if you're gonna fail, make sure you go forward. There's progress in it. No matter how bad you fail, they're gonna be there to help you get up. No matter how hard you cry, they're gonna be there to wipe your tears. You can't lose it. You know what I'm saying? You can't lose when you have it. And me, like I said, you go from religion to understanding relationship and source. And I believe that the black woman is God. You know what I'm saying? So to embrace that and help her to really understand who she is, which in turns empowers me and I empower her. It's a cycle. The yin and the yang, it never stops. So I tell people I wouldn't be able to be who I am, wouldn't have been able to do the work that I've done had it not been for the union. Because I've been in a situation to where everything was quote unquote perfect.
Yeah.
But at 18, 19, me still loving poetry, still having the dreams of thousands of people and performing and oh yeah, that's cool, but I don't want you to be, that's not who I want you to be. So I've been in situations to where you don't have the support. They pretty much work against what you see for yourself or what you desire. It's not the feeling. So like with my wife, like I'm gonna give her everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Support is important. The right type of support is important. So I agree with that. With that being said, because you met her prior to you launching your platform, right? With the support of that. So how did that come about? Which you've done the grunt work, you got your feet wet, you know you want it forever. Now we're taking it to the next level. How did that come about?
And what's crazy, yo, the real seeds got planted from her mentor. Is he a doctor? Should I put doctor? No doctor. Mr. Dwayne Wickham. He's so prestigious, I felt like he should have a doctor in front of his name. But when I met him, he called her his girl Friday.
Okay.
She was like his one, you know, like she's A1 with everything she does. But he was like, what's your plans? Like, yeah, you're a poet, but what are you going to do with your poetry? Are you going to songwrite? Are you going to write plays? Are you going to perform? What are you going to do? Like, just saying you're a poet isn't enough. It's like, oh, I think I was like, 22 at the time? I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those where I don't have the answers, but that made me feel like I wasn't prepared for the situation with her. You know what I'm saying?
Deep right there, yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, you can tell me you're a poet, but what does that really mean? How are you going to make money doing it? And that seed was planted 5 years prior to Word of Mouth Wednesdays ever being created. So I had to go figure it out.
Yeah.
Had to go write some songs. Had to work on some more poetry and develop enough to where it was pretty much like a book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah. So shout out to Mr. Wickham.
Shout out to Mr. Wickham. Yes. So he planted the seed. You went home. You thought about it. He's like, I got it. Word of Mouth Wednesdays. Kinda? Okay. Tell me about it.
Excuse me. I swallowed some coffee at the beginning wrong, and it's been getting me the whole time.
It's all good.
We back good now. So I was working at Alkaline, which is a warehouse job. You in the warehouse building furniture all day long. And I want to say this is right after I had hosted Tiana's joint that's in
the
collaboration. Yes, with y'all. I had hosted that, and the poetry stuff was kind of moving. I had just launched W.O.R.D Society and kind of hit up my homies and was like, yeah, I want us to do this thing together. Writers of Raw Distinction. We the dopest out here. Let's do it. Boom. W.O.R.D Society. Word of Mouth Wednesdays started as an online writing challenge. And I would challenge every type of writer to write. If you're a singer, sing. If you're a poet, write your poetry. If you're a rapper, do your whoever, do your thing. So it started going. We had Gemstones, which he was signed to Lupe Fiasco, pretty big in the industry on the ghostwriting and songwriting tip. He did a Word of Mouth Wednesdays, shouted out Word of Mouth, shouted out W.O.R.D Society. Like, he had been following a little bit. You never know who's watching. Then I had a 14-year-old deaf girl sign a poem for Word of Mouth Wednesdays.
Wow.
And that's when it was, poetry has no race, creed, color, religion. Anyone can do it. Anyone can relate to it. So how can we create something on a grander scale that's what I like to call a business highway? We're always taught as artists to stay in our lanes. Well, what if I create something with 4 or 5 lanes and we all merge and go in and out of the lanes, but we keep collaborating and we're on the same path towards a destination. And that's where Word of Mouth was created. So you think of taking poetry and putting it in a building. You take the live painting and you put that in the building. You take the live instrumentation from whether it's a violinist, whether it's a complete band or someone on a trumpet or a saxophone. You take the local vendors and the food from a local chef or business. You put them all in one space, so everyone that's in the building, from the establishment to the performers to the painters, everyone is making money. Everyone's making money doing what they love. And that's the Word of Mouth Wednesday experience. It is truly an experience. That's why I don't call it a poetry slam or open mic or any of that. It's an experience. The only way for you to know what it is for you to be there. Because what floats around in the air, it's magical. And it's the true form of collaboration that creates the magic. But we, as a people, don't always know how to collaborate. We know how to click,
right?
But we don't know how to collaborate.
Yeah. I thought that's what I thought was always so dope about you. First of all, you had a team. When I first met you, you had a team, which was the W.O.R.D Society, and I think it's powerful to have a team. You know what I'm saying? Because if one person falls, somebody else can pick that person up or step in place for them and things of that nature. And you do have that collaborative like energy and spirit with you, with your movement, you know, and that's powerful. You know what I mean?
Creating a tribe. Creating a tribe. It's dope to be able to see it, I guess you would say magnified, because the tribe mentality has grown. If you look at over the last, 4 years now since we started here, the tribe mentality has grown, I was going to say enormously. But
it has grown.
Yeah,
I feel like it's multiplied tenfold.
Like everyone kind of has or is working towards the idea of collaboration and being one with one another. You know what I'm saying? Versus it being you got this business and I have a similar business. We're competition now, versus saying it's enough money for us to team up, collaborate. If I got too much, I'm going to push them your way. If you got too much, and we have that understanding.
Right.
But a lot of times we can never get there because I want you doing good, but not better than me.
Right.
It's the mentality. We got to reshape that and relearn and get out of it completely, because it's enough out here for everybody. It is.
It is. And you get more and further when you collaborate versus when you're by yourself.
Straight up.
I agree with that.
And when you think I was one of those people who would try to do everything myself. And I stretched myself so far, I couldn't complete one task great. I was just good or mediocre at multiple things, versus saying, all right, my hosting tonight was A1. I couldn't be A1 with my hosting because I was worried about event planning and everything going on while still trying to host, keep the lineup together. And so it's, you learn over time. Like, you have to allow people, and I learned this over the W.O.R.D year, which was last year. I didn't know how to ask for help.
You think you didn't know how to ask for
I
help?
don't know, because I'm so used to doing everything. When I try to get someone else to do it, I still kind of want to help out with it. So it's like
you kind of had that control with
but I don't. I want to be able to release it.
Yeah.
But it's like, when people be like, well, yeah, just let me know what you need help with. It's like, all right. Let me think on it.
Yeah.
And then I can never really say, well, yeah, I need you to do this. That's why, again, my wife is a strong part of what everything going on because she helps me figure everything out.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know.
It flows. Where you are weak, she is strong.
It has.
Right.
It has to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this because it's not just, W.O.R.D Society or Word of Mouth Wednesdays. You have really turned yourself into a brand, and you have spread yourself out, which I think is important as an artist. Because, of course, people always say, oh, artist, you can't make money. It is challenging to make money as an artist, but you can make money as an artist.
You can make money.
But just like in business, you need to have multiple streams of income. Mm-hmm. You can't just be dependent on one thing. Nope. And I feel like you have stretched yourself out and done that while still practicing the art of poetry. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about your endeavors. What do you want to start? Because you have several. What do you want to start with?
A couple. Well, we can talk about the upcoming poetry school, which is W.O.R.D Academy.
Right.
The same word that's in W.O.R D Society.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I want you to talk about the beginning before you got to the academy, because people be like, "Oh, he got an academy. Let me go get one tomorrow." No, it was a process.
Yeah, it was a long process
for you to get to this. So let's talk about that too.
Okay, so the very beginning. I started at Sprague Street Recreation Center in Winston-Salem with Thirsty Ink, which is a friend of mine, Jasmine Stover, and the Josh Howard Foundation. Remember, the Josh Howard Foundation and Thirsty Ink.
Okay.
So started doing a workshop every Tuesday for little black and brown kids, poetry, helping out with school, mentoring, but the poetry was a big part of my program and just coming in and helping them out. And that went from Sprague Street every Tuesday. So I got picked up by all of the libraries in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. And I was the poet laureate for 2018 when they picked me up for all the libraries. And from there, when I had the ceremony for the poet laureate, and I combined it and did a book signing for my first book. Winston-Salem Street School, principal Nick Wright, director Mike. Why am I shooting a blank for Mike's name? Mike Foster, yes. I was shooting a blank. But they brought their entire school at the time to my book signing. And at the end, got to talk to the kids, interact with them. And from there, it was, well, how can we get you to come to our school and do some type of program? And it's like, well, you just don't know, man. Like I'm on the level up here. And I started at Winston-Salem Street School with Word of Mouth Wednesdays. And it was essentially a 45-minute poetry workshop. They write. We all I would randomly select, or if they felt they wanted to get up, they can get up. But it became something to where the one day a week where they knew they had 100% attendance was Wednesday.
Wow. Because
they all were there for Word of Mouth Wednesdays. Yeah. And it kind of got some recognition. The newspaper kind of came through and covered it. And from there, I did a pilot at Ashley Academy, which is an elementary school in Winston, and I had 4th and 5th graders, and that went I had a few months with Ashley for the first initial contract. Went well. I did another pilot with Parkland High School. That went well. I took the word of mouth, so I have a teen experience. That's the exact same show that I do for adults, but I do it for kids and teenagers, anybody 18 and under. Lexington Middle School actually booked the teen experience versus doing an 8th grade dance. They had the word of mouth teen experience come through, and we did it. So 2018, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board approved my curriculum to be into the schools.
Yes.
So then that led me to be in Parkland full-time, Ashley Academy full-time. I've been at Winston-Salem Street School, and I'm still there to this day. Like, I'll be there in the morning teaching class. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of led. I've been at Wake Forest. I've been at Winston-Salem State, UNCG, like the poetry literally has opened the doors. And now, ironically, last year I was actually reading the book to get my CDLs and start driving trucks, because we talk about the different streams of income. I didn't necessarily place everything into one basket, but imagine you have 3 different baskets kind of sitting near each other full of eggs, and the soccer ball, which is COVID, comes through and it hits one basket and it kind of bounces to the other 2. All the eggs weren't in one basket, but the baskets were near each other.
Right.
So it's one of those to where I was considering, like, all right, until everything kind of regulates, I'm gonna go drive trucks because I have a wife, I have 3 kids, I have things that we have to take care of. And as I'm reading the book, Portia Jones, which is a good friend of mine, basketball player from Wake Forest, she has W.O.R.D events, which is she does like basketball tournaments. She gets these kids in the 6th grade. She keeps them all the way through high school, coaches them up. Like, phenomenal individual. She hits me up. Her and the Josh Howard Foundation.
Okay, bring it
They
back.
partnered, and they have a building that's 20,000 square feet. Half of it is basketball courts and a gym and being set up for these wonderful tournaments that she puts on. Make sure you check out W.O.R.D events. Look her up, Portia Jones. But then she says, LB, well, I have another half of the building, and I would like for you to bring a poetry program into it and figure. So I'm in year 3 of a 5-year plan. My school wasn't supposed to come until year 5, but right when I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna go do something else, my gift opened another door. So all of the teaching and the workshops and kind of building up to that, I'm thinking the school isn't going to come for another 2 years. I didn't know how. I just was expecting a school. It dropped into my lap last year during COVID. So we've been working towards it. We're in the final stages. Got a couple more meetings to do a couple things. But yes, a poetry based school will be opening, and it's gonna, like, I'm excited. I'm excited to really be able to affect, because being in 3 or 4 or 5 schools is cool, but my idea is a partnership with the entire school system in Winston Salem County, so I can get access to the middle schools and high schools, and that magnifies the amount of kids that I can reach and the lives that I can change. Because if you can get a child comfortable speaking in front of a room full of people, you'll change the trajectory of their life. Period. Because a lot of adults aren't comfortable speaking in front of a room full of people. So that's what the gift of poetry, spoken word, and public speaking all kind of combines into.
That's so beautiful, man.
Thank you.
That is so beautiful, and it's so powerful because you are a young black man in America, and you know how they portray young black men in America, and it's like you are the opposite of everything that they try to put out in the media. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm very humbled by being here talking to you about this stuff. It is so beautiful.
I'm humbled to be here. Like, I started a lot of what I've done here. Like, we talked about off air, like my first show I hosted, like the first show I hosted was here. And that led, couple years later, won host of the year. So when you think
I totally forgot to say Bloc Award winning. I thought about that later.
You feel me? I was waiting for you to throw it out there, but I was going to wait. But yeah, so you think about, I think it may have been a 2-year period. I hosted my first show, which was someone else's show here. Then I launched the show here and hosted that. Then a couple years down the line, I win Bloc Awards Host of the Year. It's just been, thank you. Thank Darlene, like, thank y'all for what you've created and the platform that you've given artists, because a lot of people have been able to find their voice here. You know, like, we've seen the people come across that stage and what they've been able to accomplish since. So, yeah, yo. Yeah, we still got a lot of work to do.
Okay, one more thing before we go into the next session. I want to encourage you, because you said that, you know, when that ball of COVID hit, it hit all of us, you know, it hit everybody's basket, really. You know what I mean?
Everybody's basket got cracked.
Right. But you said that you want to be a youth pastor, and you are pastoring, right, by doing everything that you're doing to the youth specifically. You know what I'm saying? So I want to encourage you to stay focused on that path. I think that that's one of the things that the creator was trying to tell you, even when you were thinking about that, because that opportunity for that school opened right up during that time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a part of your calling, you know. So just stay focused on that. I just want to encourage you with that.
Love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So let's talk about the 5 steps, because that's a big part of this platform.
Okay.
Is giving people who are up and coming poets and artpreneurs 5 steps of how to get into this game and be successful in this game. So let's talk about your curriculum.
My 5 steps is proper preparation prevents poor performance. It's the 5 P's. I live by them in every aspect of life. You have to make sure you're prepared for the opportunity when it comes your way. In all aspects. We were talking about it like, I don't believe in luck. I believe opportunity meets preparation. It's an intersection that comes, but you have to be prepared for it.
Right.
You know how they say God will never put more on you than you can bear, or it's the same concept. Like, you have to be prepared for what you're headed or what you're asking for. You know how whenever you say, oh yeah, God, I need a blessing, or I'm ready to level up, and right before you level up, it seems like you get smacked from everywhere with everything.
Right.
Because I need to know if you're really prepared for what you're asking for. I need to know if you've learned to be the eye of any storm and you be the peace when everything around you is going crazy.
Right.
Are you really ready for that level up? So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just went to a whole new level with that one.
I was trying not to. That's why I tried to bring it back.
It's all good. It's all good. They need to know that. They need to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, faith obviously for you is real, and faith for me is real. I am, because the Creator is allowing me to be, and that's how I feel. So that's very important. Yeah.
Understanding, like, you be prepared for the occasion. Watch your thoughts and watch the words that you speak, because manifestation is real. We don't realize we speak a lot of these things over our lives, whether it's good or bad. And if you sulk in the negativity, and if that's all you see, and that's all you're sitting in, and that's all you're around, you're going to keep manifesting more. So back to every day is Wednesday. I win every day because that's a mentality that I have. Can't no one take that away from me. So it's the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Right.
Watch your thoughts.
Right.
Watch what you speak.
Right.
Attempt to understand manifestation and really think, like, have you ever thought about someone so much and then your phone rings and it's the person calling you?
Yes.
It's a manifestation.
Yes.
It's a manifestation. We just don't notice the small wins. I consider them to be small wins. You have to be able to see it and notice it.
Right.
Yeah. And take try. If you're an artpreneur and you're looking to get into it, take the word try completely out of your vocabulary. Don't try, just get it done. Commit to getting it done. If you're forever trying to do something, you'll never complete the task.
Yes. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Just do it, like Nike. Yes.
Take try out.
Yeah.
Think about, you hit somebody up and you're like, yeah, I need you to do a favor for me. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to try. You know they're going to BS you.
Right.
You know it. If they tell you they're going to try, I'm going to call somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if they say, I got you, bro, I'm going to get it done. I'm securing that.
Right.
I can believe it. There's a period at the end of it.
Right.
It's done.
Right.
But if you say, yeah, man, I'm going to try, question mark, ...
Yeah.
Take try out.
I agree with that.
Take it out. Get it done.
That's making me think of, remember Loving Basketball, and he's like, can't shouldn't be in a man's vocabulary. Yes. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
It's perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm big on that. Change the way you think and your actions will follow.
Yes. Okay. So you just gave the course for Professor LB's course of how to become a professional artpreneur.
There we go.
What is the prerequisite for the course? Before they can even enter into the course, you told them what it was about. That was the syllabus. What's the prerequisite they got to do tonight before they come to class tomorrow?
Look in the mirror and believe who you are.
Let's marinate on that. Let's talk about that. That's important. That's the first step. Believing in yourself.
I like to tell people, you want to know, like, why so many people know that I'm an artist, that I'm a poet. People may think that I'm great. Because I told him I was LB the poet. I told him what I wanted to do. I told him what the vision was, and I believed it. It's not like, you know, you got some people who you meet them and they just seem like, bro, you're a little too cocky, you're a little arrogant. I don't ever want to be perceived as that. Like, I just know what I'm here for. I know what I'm supposed to do, so I embrace it. If I could talk to a younger me about art and entrepreneurship, I would simply say accept the no's, and you never lose, you learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No such thing as losses.
Because I was going to keep on running, and I'm like, let me bring it back and make sense of it.
Yeah.
You never lose, you learn, because you can get discouraged. Like when I told a lot of people that what I was going to do with poetry. Poetry is not popular in our community to some people. Like it's almost like a quote unquote joke when you tell them like, like roses are red, violets are blue. It's like, bro, come on, man.
Right.
And if I had have taken what a lot of them said, I wouldn't have kept going with the vision. But it was like, all right, you don't see it, but you will.
Right.
You don't see it, but you will. Watch me.
Right.
Take it as a challenge. Don't ever let nobody tell you no.
Right.
And believe in your own dream, because I can't believe in your dream if you don't.
That's a word right there. That's a word right there. You dropping some jewels today, LB?
Hey, I'm trying to be great for you. You got me on this great platform. I
appreciate it. You doing fantastic. I love it. I hear so many like drops. It's beautiful. Okay, so we got to get ready to wrap this up. But real quickly, Wednesday. Every day is Wednesday. Talk to us about that and how that came about.
Every day is Wednesday.
And when WIN. Right.
WINSDAY.
Right.
Yeah, from a space of being low, vibrating low, and allowing my mental to take over and control. And in that space, I referenced my wife. She was the one that was like, no, you're not going to let that. You're not going to let it. And from there, saying that I win every day, that I open my eyes, and I'm able to make the statement, it's a Wednesday. That's the first thing I say in the morning. It's a Wednesday. I don't care if it's a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, a real Wednesday. Every day is Wednesday, so I embrace it. Because, again, I've been in those low spaces. I've talked to people who have been there and who have made it out, and it's like, it's tough. And if you don't have someone to help pull you out of it, you have to listen to that little voice that we often ignore in our head, or we allow it to talk us into a hole. One of the two, but you have to learn to, again, look in the mirror and embrace who you are and understand that you're going to win as long as you're able to make the statement. If you can open your eyes, if you can feel, first thing in the morning, you won already.
Yes.
Embrace the bonuses that comes along with the day.
Yes. Yes. That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
This has been fantastic.
I've been smiling the whole time. My cheeks hurt a little bit.
It's okay. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. So tell the people, this is your camera right here. Tell the people how they can get in contact with you. Talk about your water one more time before we get out of here.
If you would like to get in contact with me, it's LB the Poet on every social media platform. And if you can't find me on there, lbthepoet.com. And hit me up. Live alkaline water. I have it. I am in Winston-Salem, but we ship it anywhere across the country. If you need it, please get in contact with me. Again, shoot me a DM, hit me up, ask questions. I interact with people. I'm not one of those that I don't answer comments and stuff. Like I talk to people. I like conversation. Yeah. So reach out, hit me up. Let's build. Let's collaborate.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because again, the artpreneur journey is a holistic journey. It's not just about the money, but it's also about the health, the mind, the spirit, the soul.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, that wraps up our show for this week. I'm Patricia Schuler, your host. You can find me on social media at Patricia Schuler, and we catch you next time.